Grade 10. Today is our subject in mapping. 10. Again, my name is Sir Ray Rinaldo B. Maliman. In today week 4 lesson, talk about in contemporary Philippine music. In the history of Philippine music has truly evolved from its indigenous roots to its contemporary form throughout the centuries, and through several colonial influences, the music in Philippines had become to westernize, especially during the American colonial period and after the Second World War. And these are the traditional Philippine composers. The one is Lucio San Pedro. Was born on February 11, 1913 in Agono, Rizal. He was a music teacher, and 1981 he was proclaimed by President Corazon Aquino a national artist in music. San Pedro came from a family with musical roots and began his career early in local church organist. By then, he had already composed songs, hymns, and 2 complete masses for voices and orchestra. After studying with several prominent musicians in the Philippines, he took advanced composition training with Bernard Wegener of Netherlands. In 1947, he studied harmony and orchestration under the Vittorio Jubini and also took classes in Juilliard. He taught in Ateneo de Manila University, in all the major music and conservatories in Manila, and the College of Music of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where retired in professor in 1978. He later received the title of Professor of Emeritus from University in 1979. He also became the faculty member of the Central Escolar University of Conservatory Music in Manila. He was declared National Artist for the Music in 1981, and he passed away on March 31, 2002. The second is Antonio J. Molina. Antonio Molina was composer, conductor, and music administrator who was named a National Artist of the Philippines in 1973 for his service to his music. He was also known as Aplaude de Base on the Philippines due his use for impressionism in music. He was born in Manila, the son of government official. He attended the Escuela Católica de Nuestra Padre Jesus Nazareno in Quiapo, Manila, and College of San Juan de Letran, where he was awarded a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1909. His first composition was Matinal. In 1912, he was appointed to the University of Conservatory of Music to teach harmony, composition, music history, and violoncello at the UP Conservatory of Music. Later, he was appointed Dean of the Central Escolar Conservatory of Music. He founded a senior string quartet, which was professionally organized and has a composer of Manila included with over the 500 compositions. So his notable contribution to the Philippine music is use folk music in his words. And he innovated the Philippine music in his time by using folk instruments like kulintangan and gabang. Another is Antonio R. Benaventura. Antonio R. Benaventura has vigorously and pursued a musical career that spans several decades of unwavering commitment to the advancing of frontiers of Philippine music. He composed songs and compositions for the solo instruments as well as the symphonic and the orchestral works based on the folk songs of various Philippine ethnic groups. He was also conductor and restored the Philippine Army Band to its former prestige as one of the finest military bands in the world, making it the only band that can sound like symphony orchestra. Was also the conductor in Philippine Army Band. With his lead, the Philippine Army Band was tagged the only band that can sound like symphony and orchestra. Another is Hilario Rubio, was born on October 21, 1902 in Bacoor, Cavite, composer, music teacher, conductor, clarinetist. He's created a substantial work for the orchestra. He served the conductor of opera, ballet dance, recitals, and music movie. He played a clarinet proficiency and written the several marches of triumphant march and the Philippine triumphant military sketches and symphony in C major, among the others. Hilario was born in Bacoor, Cavite, again on October 21, 1902. During the war years, he taught the private lessons and composed, arranged, and conducted various bands and chorus. After the war, taught and conducted the Ministerial Symphony Orchestra and also reorganized the Unida Church from the choir. Next is Rosendo E. Santos Jr. The most famous words are pakiusap, madaling araw, sakali man, tibik ng Pilipinas, ano kaya ang kapalaran, hindi man, anak dalita. And this is a piece was sung before the Royal Court Spain upon the request of King Alfonso II. Rosendo E. Santos was born on September 3, 1922 in Cavite City. He was educated in Cavite School and was graduate of the University of the Philippines Conservatory of Music, where served by faculty member. At the age of 11, he started composing band marches, instrumental and vocal scores in Catholic masses. He was later named a UNESCO Scholar and received the Professor of the Year Award in Manila in 1956 to 1957 and won 12 prizes consecutively in composition contest. Most recently, he received the title of the Philippine Composer of the Century. Professor Santos joined the faculty and Wilkes University in 1968. He composed the background music for J. Arthur Rank Films, Pinewood Studios in London, England, where he was worked by the Mercer Matheson and Malcolm Arnold. Among his teachers was Aaron Kaplan, Irving Pine, Harvey Circular, and conductor by Norman Day Marks. Mr. Santos is enlisted on the New Group's Dictionary on the Music and Musician. Next is Raimundo Cipriano Cayabyab, 1954. He is the National Artist for Music on 2018. The translation composer is Like Kaganda ng Ating Musika, The Coconut Nut, Paraiso, Limang Dipang Tao. Cayabyab was born in Manila in 1954. He graduated in Business Administration of the University of the Philippines. He also finished a Bachelor of Music in UP, and he became complete professor of Department of Composition and Music Theory in UP Diliman for about 2 decades. Ryan Cayabyab is a prominent Filipino musician and became the artistic director of the San Miguel Foundation for the Performing Arts. His works vary from specially made full-length ballets, theater, musicals, choral piece, and crowd set up accompanied by chorus, and orchestral piece by syllable recordings of popular composition, film scorers, and television specials. Next is Ramon Santos. He is a national artist in music in 2014. Electronic computer music and procedure are greatly influenced by avant-garde and Asian music. Simple composition is Dingding Liwaya, Nabasag na Banga at iba pang mga pinag-uupong-umpong na pananalita sa wikang Pilipino para sa 16 na tinding ng Dalbad in 1941 research. He was named by National Artist of the Philippines of Music in University of Professor of Emeritus of Composition in Theory at the College of Music of the University of the Philippines. Mr. Santos was made by Chamberlain Dersdes Arts of It Letters in 1987. Another is Josepino Toledo in 1959. He Pino Chino Toledo is a recognized figure in Asian contemporary art music scene. Master of Music degree from the Cleveland Institute of Music, USA. Was founded by University of Philippines Festival Orchestra, Crosswave Symphonic Orchestra Project, and the Chamber by Vocal Ensemble of OIT. He was former music director of the Manila Symphony Orchestra and piece of Philippine Orchestra of the Philippines, and guest conductor by Philippines Philharmonic Orchestra in the San Miguel Philippine Harmonic Orchestra in their concerts and other orchestral activities. Toledo is noted by premiering works of Filipino composers as well as other Asian composers. The artistic director of the 1997 Asian Composers League Musical Festival in Manila. He was cited by conducting the local premiere of 20 contemporary music compositions during the week-long festival. Toledo was also critically praised for his conducting the premiere performances of a new work by Philippine composer during the Philippine Centennial celebrations. He also conducted the Art of Summit Festival in Indonesia, Pacific South Stream Festival, Federation Music Week in Melbourne, and several festivals in Japan. In 2004, Philippine Art of Month of Festival, led by Young Metro Manila Community Orchestra, and critically acclaimed by 8 concert series within the cities of Metro Manila. This conducting has been described as a year of expressive like a way of musical magic in Philippines. Another one is Jose Maceda, is national artist in music. He is a pianist of interpersonalities in the say of pioneer exponent of avant-garde music. The sample composition is Ugma-Ugma, Agungan, Pagsamba, Ugnayan, Udlot-Udlot in 1917 to 2004. Francisco Pilinciano is a national artist in music in 2014. Composer and conductor by band conductor. Simple compositions. The life of wartime Filipino hero Jose Abad Santos, Transfiguration, Pokpok Alimpako, Salimbayan, Umiinog, Walang Tinag, Pamubuin, and Restless, 1942 to 2014. Dr. Feliciano was born in February 1941 and obtained his degree in music composition from the Hochschule der Künste in Berlin, Germany. His Master of Music Composition from the University of the Philippines. His Master of Musical Arts Doctorate in Musical Arts Composition at Yale University School of Music. Among his team, teachers and conductors were Arthur Wisberg and Martin Berman, and composer of Isang Yon, Jacob Drachmann, and Christoph Bidicke, with H.W. Silberman. Feliciano composed more than 30 major musical dramas and operatic dramas. Among the prize-winning work of La Loba Negra, his work has been performed in choral festivals in Europe and the United States. He was given the John D. Rockefeller Award for music composition in 1977. For some years, Feliciano was also conductor of the Philippine Harmonic Orchestra. He was president and founder of Santos Likhaan Foundation, the Asian School of Music, Worship, and the Arts of Organization devoted and promoting Asian worship music. Next is Lucrecia Casilag. She is national artist in music in 1989, a grand lady of Philippine music, a pioneer in research and use of Asian musical instruments. A sample of composition is Toccata for percussion and the Winds of Legend of Sarimanok, the Advertisement and Concertante of Dularawan in 1918. Another from our modern Filipino musician and songwriter. The one is Jerry Dadak. Jerry Dadak was born on November 5, 1935 in Hinungan, Southern Leyte. He was born to his mother musical clan to the trombone player Castor Amber, who was the uncle, and his elder his actual music trainer. he started composing when he was studying in Silliman, which include also solo songs and choral pieces, which showed the influence in him on his mother singing in his church activities. Back in Manila, he became member of UPROTC band, where he was first assigned to play percussion and later learned trombone. He taught the Ramon Magsaysay High Schools in Cubao. Dadap earned Bachelor of Degree in Music Composition at the University of the Philippines Conservatory Music in 1964. In his postgraduate diploma in composition of Mannes College of Music, New York in 1971. In 1968, Dadap went to the U.S. and studied observation grant from the Music Promotion Foundations of the Philippines. He held full scholarship grant from United of Presbyterian Church of USA from 1969 to 1971. Dadap is the first Filipino composer to conduct his works at the Carnegie Recital Hall in New York in 1971. Upon his return in Philippines in 1971, he taught composition, earned training and orchestrations at the Santa Isabel College of Music in Manila. Among his works are The Passionate in the Wild in 1960, Mga Muyo 1, 1976, Mga Muyo 2, 1977, The Redemption, 1974, Five Little Fingers, 1975, Tubig ng Buhay, 1986, and Dakilang Papatawad, 1986. So, you get students who are more than modern Philippine music songwriters. Okay, we continue. His major works in composer-conductor was performed as the Concert of Lahi that feature works by major composer in town. Among his awards are second place National Symphonic Point Composition Contest sponsored by USD Conservatory Music Alumni Association in 1960. Citation as Outstanding Musician and Committee of Annual Awards in UP in 1960. First prize by National Rondalia Composition Contest sponsored by the Manila Times Publishing Company in 1967. And the last is International Awardee of Distinguished Service Award, Medal from the International Order of Dimulay for composition of Dimulay Hymn in 1968. Next is Jonas Baez in 1961. Was born in Binan, Laguna, studied composition with Ramon Pagayon Santos at the University of the Philippines Liman in Quezon City from 1977 to 1982, where he earned his Bachelor of Music. He also studied in musicology with Jose Maceda from 1982 to 85 and composition and musical politics with Matias Spanglinger at the Hanks-Spirkal. He finished by PhD in Filipino Studies at the University of Philippines Diliman in 2004 with the dissertation by the Moods of Appreciations of Indigenous Music, the Politics of Production, Cultural and Difference. This award includes the CCP LPC Composition Prize in 1980 for Awit ng Ibon, and 3 awards from the Chancellor to earn his the Hall of Fame Award ng University of the Philippines retired Gawad Chancellor para sa pinakamahusay na manaliksik noong 2001-2003. Another modern Filipino is George Canseco, considered as a nationally acclaimed composer of numerous popular classics. Compositions, Ikaw, Kailangan Kita, Hiram, Langis sa Tubig, Hanggang sa Dulo Walang Hanggan, Sinasamba Kita, Kastilyo Buhangin, Ngayon at Kailanman, at Gaano Kadalas ang Minsan, since 1934 to 2004. Next is Compasio de Guzman, born on November 11, 1903 in Galginto, Bulacan. Acknowledged as the Dean of Filipino Movie Composer and the Musical Directors. He became the music director of the movie productions of companies like Sampaguita, LBN, Royal, Excelsior, Lea, and Tagalog Ilang-Ilang Production. He is expected to hit music, Panaginip, paid by the way for him to record hundreds of songs, principally under the Villar and Columbia Records. In 1948, his song Ang Bayan Ko and Kung Kita'y Kapiling won the gold medal at the Paris International Fair. Some of the Sam de Guzman notable composition are Maalala Mo Kaya, Paalam, Walang Kamatayan, Ang Langit Ko Ikaw, Bayan Ko, Bulong-Bulungan, Hinihintay Kita, Hirog ng Buhay, Babalik Ka Rin, Ang Tangi Kong Pag-ibig, Berhing Walang Dambana. This accidentally hit by the fate of the Heap of Records hundreds of the song. Next is Miguel Mike Velarde Jr. 1913 to 1986. He's a composer, conductor, movie actor, and musical director. Was born in Manila on October 23, 1913. His exposure to the repeated and unpretentious environment of the Basilan Zamboanga had influence in creative imagination, mainly nurtured by his mother, who became his first music teacher in piano and violin when he was 6 years old. Mike Velarde was born in Manila on October 23, October 1913. His parents was Dr. Miguel and Dolores Velarde. He grew up in Zamboanga and Basilan. His mother was his first music teacher. He was a class valedictorian in high school and a member of the school orchestra. He took up in medicine at the University of Philippines but did not finish it. Instead of studying music under the Dr. Antonio Molina and Riston Abilino, he worked in radio station programs such as Sunrise Program and Stardust Program. He opened a jazz school, became song editor of Philippine Priest. He also became a musical director of Avenue Theater. He was also a movie actor, starred in movies which include Milagro ng Nazareno 1925, Bituing Marikit 1938, Lagot Quintas 1938, Pasang Cruz 1939, Linya Bonita 1940. His compositions include Obe Obe Blues 1935, Ikaw from Milagro of Nazareno 1935, Dahil Sa'yo from Bituing Marikit 1938, Habang May Buhay from Lagot Quintas 1938, Lahat ng Araw from Pasang Cruz 1939, Dating Supaan from Dating Supaan 1939, and Minamahal Kita from Linya Bonita 1940. Next is Hernani J. Cuenco. He is one of the remarkable singer, composer, bell scorer, and musician. His song by Chutes mark in the heart of the Filipinos through his styles of incorporating convenient elements in his ballads love song. He was born on May 10, 1936 in Malolos, Bulacan. He was a Filipino composer and bell scorer. He wrote a standing and memorable body of the work that resonate with the Filipino scene's musicality and which embody an indigenous voice that raise and artistic dimensions of contemporary Filipino music. Cuenco played with the Filipino Youth Symphony Orchestra in the Manila Symphony Orchestra from 1960 to 1968 and Manila Chamber Soloist from 1966 to 1970. He complete music degree in piano and cello from the University of Santo Tomas, were also taught for decades until his death in 1988. His songwriting previous include Nahan, Kahit na Magtiis, Dilingin Mo ng Hamog ng Uhaw ng Lupa, Pilipinas, Inang Bayan, Isang Dalangin, Kalesa, Batu't Buhangin, Gaano Kita Kamahal. Next is Libby Celerio, a national artist in music and literature in 1997. Prolific lyricist and composer include a Guinness Book of World Records for being the only person to make a music with a mouth-blown lip. Some compositions is Ang Pipit, Sa Ugoy ng Duyan, Lucy Di Gallo, Itik-Itik, Folk Song, Tinikling, Folk Song, and Ang Pasko Ay Sumapit since 1910 to 2002. He was to several songs of local movies which earned for him Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Film Academy of Philippines. Celerio was written lyrics for more than 4,000 Filipino folk songs, Christmas and love songs, including many that became movie titles. Known for being good lyricist, his song by Cheris Light convey nationalistic sentiments and utter grand philosophies. Among them popular piece which may considered to be immortal. One is sa Pasko naman, Maligayang Pasko at Maligayang Bagong Taon. Misa di Gallo, saan ka man naroroon, kahit konting pagtingin, gaano po ikaw kamahal kapag po sa sinugatan, ikaw o maliwanag ang buwan dahil sa isang bulaklak, sa ubay ng duyan, bagong pagsilang, sapagkat kami tao lamang, ang pipit, tiniting, tunay na tunay, waray-waray, pitong gatang, itik-itik, ako ay may singsing, alibangbang, alimbong, galawgaw, karitsusa, ang tapis ni Inday, lungay mo hirang, umaga na nining, ikaw kasi, basta, mahal kita, ang bagong lipunan, lupang pangarap, at tinig ng bayan. That is Levi Celerio. Next is Restituto Risti Umali. Was born in Paco, Manila on June 10, 1916. He was the second child of Benito Umali and Eulogia Aquino. His early exposure to music was due to the influence to his father, who was taught him how to play the violin. Risti's childhood was also influenced by the regular familia regalia. He was properly exposed to music techniques such as solfeggio and score at the Mapa High School. Having been influenced by his family regalia, he became active member of the school glee club and the school orchestra. He then took formal lesson in harmony and to broaden the musical person under the Philippine Didion. He became a volunteer instructor teaching in double bass at the University of the Philippines, UP. He studied at the Jose Rizal College in JRC, wherein he earned Bachelor of Science degree of Commerce. He was later exposed to pop tunes during the performances with both Mapa Orchestra and the JRC band, and earned extra money during band arrangements of various songs and the piece as well as composing short school songs. He also played double bass professionally for radio programs and also for dance orchestra of the Army and Navy Club. When World War II broke out, he began arranging and conducting musical groups for stage shows and dance support. This set a path towards winning his first famous award in 1964. Some of his compositions are Romance in 1953, Philippine Media Overture, Media for Philippine Arts, Ang Peri, Sa Lahat sa Akin 1969, Sa Araw ng Kasal 1970, There is Forever 1971, Sa Pagitan ng Dalawang Langit 1974, at Lupang Pangarap 1975. Some of his awards are First Prize Philippine Independence Hymn Contest in 1947, PAMAS Best Music Award for the Sa Bawat Pintig ng Puso 1964, PAMAS Best Music Award for Pinagbuklod ng Langit 1969, Manila Film Festival Best Music Award for Bittersweet 1969, PAMAS Best Music Award Mga Anghel ng Walang Langit 1970, PAMAS Best Music Award for Ang Alamat 1973, and Ulog ng Folk Film Festival Best Music Award for Ang Agila at Ang Araw 1973. Next is Angel Piña in 1921 to 2014. He is classical and jazz composer, arranger, and bass player. He is widely considered by modern Filipino jazz musician as one of the founders of traditional jazz in the Philippines. He was born on April 22, 1921 to a musical family. Peña learned his video from his mother, Rosario Velarde, at jazz. Peña wrote his first original jazz composition just before the World War II erupted. He also wrote condiments for the young women who would be courting. He had also switched from the guitar, bass, leading, writing, orchestral background, music for musical ensembles, and musical scorers for film companies, most notably LBM Pictures. Peña's interest in classical composition grew intense, and so in 1956, he formed a big band of Upsilon Sigma Phi Traditional and Concert of the University of the Philippines, were composed of Bagbag Bagtulambing, a landmark of Filipino music. In 1959, the University of Santo Tomas launched the National Symphonist Composition Contest, open to all Filipino composers. Peña Intri Igorot Rhapsody won the first prize of the following year. In the mid-1960s, during a 3 years stint in Hong Kong, he earned the licentiate with Royal School of Music in London, which is equivalent to music degree. In the biography, he worked with a site of Encyclopedia of the Philippine Music and Arts Cultural Center of the Philippines. In 1998, a House of Resolution from the state of Hawaii's House of Representatives was passed, honoring Peña for the contribution in the field of music as the world-renowned jazz musical arranger in Hawaii, on the living classical composer. The Jazz Society of the Philippines in USA gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 3rd Annual Phil-Am Jazz Festival in Hollywood. Next is Santiago Suarez in 1901 to 1964. Born in Sampaloc, Manila, he learned how to play the piano from his grandmother, who was also a competent harpist, while his grandfather played in the club. He studied or attended the Conservatory of Music, University of the Philippines, and the Ateneo de Manila in Intramuros. He took private music lessons from Cayetano Chapo, Pedro Plariga, and Nicanor Abelardo. Santiago attended the UP Conservatory of Music in Ateneo, Manila. From the taking private lesson from Cayetano to Nicanor Abelardo, who also played the piano from his grandmother was competent in harpist. Leopoldo Silos Sr. He was born on March 6, 1925. He was composer, singer, arranger. He composed a recorded number of romantic songs, the most famous of which were two of his well-known hits, Dahil sa Isang Bulaklak, Because of One Flower, and Hindi Kita Malilimot, I Can't Forget You. He also the award-winning musical director of the long-running television musical program Awitin Kita, which starred by Armida Sigion Reyna. As a singer, Leopoldo Silos Sr., ang the title Alinlangan, That Fall, Diyos lamang ang nakakaalam, Inibig kita, Biro, Ako ay mahalin, Kaputol lang lumipas, Kung ikaw ay mahal, Magandang bituin, Magkaibang daigdig, Minamahal, Sinasamba, Palibhasay, Lupa. As a composer of Leopoldo Silos, and these are some of composer of our one of Filipino compositor Leopoldo Silos. He earned from a title Angling Consejero, Ay Anong Saklap, Diyos lamang ang nakakalam, Dahil sa Isang Bulaklak, Di Magtataksil, Gulpi ni Gulayat, Halina Halina, Hindi ko malilimutan, Huwag kang titingin sa iyong likuran, Ito kaya ang pagmamahal, Lagi kitang naalala, Langit sa lupa, Lihim na pag-ibig, Mundo mas mawala, O pag-ibig na hindi ko maiwasan. Being a arranger, Ako ay babalik, Awit na aking pag-ibig, at awit ng pagmamahal. Let's try to review all chapter from lesson 3. The traditional Filipino composer are Lucio San Pedro, Antonio J. Molina, Antonio Biniventura, Hilario F. Rubio, Rosendo E. Santos, Ryan Cayabyab, Josepino Chino Toledo, and Francisco F. Feliciano. The modern Philippine musicians and songwriter include Jerry Dadap, Jonas Bais, Mariano Velarde, Libby Celerio, Restituto Umali, Angel Peña, Santiago Suarez, and Leopoldo Silos.